How I love to vibe when I'm vibing with you. How I love to vibe when the vibing is true. How I love to vibe when I'm vibing with you. We're vibing, we're vibing, we're vibing, we're vibing. It's Mike and Cass vibing out.
There we go.
Hello!
Hello, beautiful spirit.
Hello, beautiful spirit. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. This is Cass.
This is Mike.
This
is Mike and Cass vibing
out,
out.
baby. Eat. No, excuse me.
I was like, oh, shit.
Thank you. Good night. Hope you got a lot out of that. Just felt the vibration.
That's going to be like half the episode because we're doing like a short one.
Yeah. That's what happens when you run out of ideas.
No, anyway, we are super happy for you to be here today. We are coming to you with lots of love, lots of positive energy. And today we're talking about roles. So before we get into that, we'd like to just center in with ourselves here. So if you'd like to join us wherever you are, if you can close your eyes right now, great. If you can't, please keep them open if it's for safety reasons.
If you're driving, don't close your eyes, please.
We don't want to be like a liability here.
The small print. Mike and Cass told me to close my eyes, so I did on the freeway. If you're able to, if you're not driving, if you're sitting at home, but if you are driving, you can still join us for a few slow, deep breaths. So let's start by breathing in through our nose, out through your mouth. Breathing deep into your diaphragm, in through your nose, out through your mouth. One more good breath in through your nose and sustain it, hold it. Set an intention for yourself, whatever it's calling for you. If you need more peace, more love, whatever it is. And exhale. Allow yourself to center in this moment. Notice how you feel. More centered, more focused, more present into this moment by moment existence.
Doesn't that feel nice?
It does.
Doesn't
It
that feel
does.
nice?
It does. It does. So simple, but so powerful. With the people that we serve, we always suggest that they set an alarm to check in with themselves, to just breathe. Just breathe. Your life force, your very breath. It is so telling of how we're doing and how we're feeling emotionally. If things need to be let go, if we're carrying tension. So just stopping to breathe and breathe deep, not from your chest. This is stress breathing. It's where we carry a lot of stress and tension in our lats and our back and that area. Breathing through your diaphragm into that chi, to that power source. And release back to freedom. All right. I'm excited about today's topic. And
Me too.
As always, it's
important.
A free flow. We're going to be talking about roles today and all the roles that we play, and just being honest with yourself about if they serve you, and maybe if it's time to redefine those roles or let some of those roles go. And when we say roles, we mean the roles of being a son or a daughter, being a mother or a father, being a cousin, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a boss, an employee. All these different roles have certain preset things that we've agreed to that we fit into of what that role means. Now, either it comes from what we were taught, like that's what it means to be a daughter. That's what it means to be a husband or a wife. That's what it means to be a man or a female or black or white or Mexican or Asian, Pacific Islander. We get trapped in all these expectations and roles, and a lot of them don't fully serve us. It's a beautiful thing to be a daughter or a son. It's a beautiful thing to be a husband or a wife. It's a beautiful thing, whatever culture you have. It's a beautiful thing, whatever your purpose is, what your day-to-day job is. So it's not saying it's a negative thing, but just looking at it to see if there's certain connotations within that don't serve you.
Yeah, it's about being intentional. It doesn't mean you have to, like, you can't stop being like, I'm a daughter. I can't stop being that, but to not limit myself into maybe a box of what I or society believes I should be because of that role. So just being intentional with why you're doing certain things, why you believe certain things, why you think a certain way and act a certain way. And I learned from the first time I heard about this was in the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, where we always act based on our identity, how we identify ourselves. And like in his book, have you read that?
No.
Okay, you should read it. It's really good.
Have I?
But it's like the #1 habit book, like self-improvement stuff.
Maybe
but anyway, he talks about how like we're in the field of fitness, wellness, and stuff, and we both know how so many people all the time have fitness goals. Most of them, do they reach them? Not really. People, have New Year's solutions and fall off track. And why is that? They don't consider themselves an athlete. They don't consider themselves healthy. They don't consider themselves happy. So their reality, their actions are always going to be confirming that identity. And so you start calling yourself whatever you are and want to be, and you'll become that. And so I guess a question for you would be...
Ooh, I was going to give you a question. That's fine. Go ahead, give me a question.
I'm always on the spot first. It's your turn. So, what roles have you played in your life, and either currently or in the past, do you feel are maybe not serving you in the best way?
The limitations, let's start with, there's several, the idea of what it means to be a man, being a guy from the Midwest, the idea of having to be tough, not crying, which is terrible for your health. It's freeing to cry. It's actually powerful, and it takes strength to surrender and allow yourself to be vulnerable to cry. It's a huge lie that we get told as men, especially in this country, and especially if you're part of certain parts of the country. And within that, the lies within, and like what it means to be a black man, a person of color in America, and the things that, I don't believe, but, certainly conditioning, and working on being a second-class citizen, the fact of the residual facts from slavery that affect even today of, what it means to be black, as far as the ways that, racism's played an impact, but then also what it means to be black within culture, black pride and things of that nature, and ways you're supposed to act or not act, ways you're supposed to speak depending on where you grew up, and an obligation to fit within that. Like, I feel very grateful that, I had an inclination from the way I was raised, to be myself first. And I always had this thing within me, that I'm Michael first. But within that, just growing up as a kid and, learning and wanting to fit in, you fall into those attributes, and you may feel insecure if you don't fit into, or if it's not natural. It's not natural not to be yourself, or feel like you have to talk a certain way or speak a certain way or carry up some type of airs about certain things. That's not real, So for me, those are two things that, pop up right away. There's so many more. So, but I'm it's time to go back to Cass. And so I'm gonna ask you the same thing on the spot. Being a woman, growing up in California, being a woman, what that means, and being a white woman.
Interesting. Okay, because I was thinking of, I guess, different roles, but I don't know. I really have to think about that, because I know that those things have affected me, but also like not in so long or not in such tremendous ways. I mean, being white, like, I don't have any like problems with that. You know, there's nothing um I feel any like pressure towards in that way or any limitation about uh and I don't know. I guess I've pushed through a lot of that. I'm really not sure how to answer that at the
That's
moment.
good. But all right, let me throw this at you. Have you become more aware of like certain privilege from
Oh, yeah.
being right, and then also like as like being a female, like when you think
Mhm.
about like elementary school to the awkward teenage years to high
Mhm.
school, like things with being a female, did you feel like you had to
Mm.
fit in certain boxes as far as like, the way you look, or the way you're supposed to act, or what a girl
Mhm.
does, what a girl doesn't do, and what's okay
Yeah.
for a female and what's not, you know what I'm saying? And did you notice
Yeah.
like hypocrisies
Mm.
from being a female compared to like your male counterparts
Mhm.
growing up from like elementary school to junior high school to high school
Yeah.
and even now?
It is funny. The one thing that pops in my head, which isn't like a big deal, but I feel like the only thing I've personally felt like pressured about to fit into a certain way because, um, from being a woman, because in a lot of ways, like I try to just go outside of the norm. Like I notice all of the ways we put women into boxes and say this is how women should be. I've never really listened to those though. Like I really don't care most of the time. So that doesn't apply to me personally, but the one thing I do remember is like the one time I was sitting and I had my like legs kind of like open, like how every single dude sits all the time. And, you know, someone tells me ladies don't sit like that and stuff. And then, you know, I always like thought like, oh, I have to put my legs together. I have to like do
Did,
this certain like posture when I'm
what
sitting, you
what
know?
were you wearing at the time, and how old were you?
I don't even remember. It's just like a memory that's like faint. I don't know the details, but I know multiple times in my life that's been like said to me where I'm just like laying on the couch being comfortable or
Okay.
something and like ladies aren't supposed to do that, you know.
It doesn't really matter. It gets away from the point. But I'm just saying, like, were you in jeans, or were
I
you
think so.
showing your business to the world?
Well,
And
no,
then it
I
would so that's why somebody,
I was most likely just wearing pants,
you
you
know,
know,
but the
wearing leggings or
but
something.
the fact that the massage, like the masculine thing with like ladies don't do that, was
And it was
put
women telling me that too.
was put on
And
that.
that's the thing is it was always women doing that. So from that specific role of being a woman, I've noticed like I said so many limitations we put on women, so many boxes, but at least from my mind right now, nothing's really popping up because all the limitations that I can think of, I've always done the opposite and like rebelled against that kind of. Like one of the things in school I always got so mad at was whenever teachers would like need someone to carry something for them, they'd always ask, "Oh, any guys that can like carry this for me, like something heavy?" And I was like, bitch, I'm here. I work out. Like, what are you talking about? Can't you just say any strong people that can carry a 20-pound box? Like, I was so mad that they never asked, like, for people in general who could do something that requires physical strength, you know? That
Yes,
thing got me so, like, pissed off that it came up to
Cassidy
me.
is a unicorn, and so
That has a different
that
connotation
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
internet. So maybe.
She has okay. Well, okay. She's a unique spirit, like in the fact that she was, no matter what it was, she wasn't gonna fit in any type of role.
I'm an Aquarius.
From what I've learned
So,
about her, she's gonna do the exact opposite of whatever it is, no matter what it is, which is interesting when I'm listening to you within that, especially when you're a kid. Like it still holds true in the sense of if you're overcorrecting to not do that, and on the opposite side, it's still like you're affected by what they expect you to do. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Because like if within that women are supposed to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this,
Yeah.
and you do the opposite of that, it's still like in reaction to that damn role that they expect you to fit in. Just good
That's
on you
true.
for having the strength to step outside of it,
Yeah.
but it's still there. I'm gonna hold it up for my mom and my sisters, being black women on top of being women, and within that, like a lot of times women, when they are smart, when they are confident, a woman being confident a lot of times is taken as a negative,
Mm-hmm.
where, oh, who does she think she is? All of a sudden she's a bitch or she's doing too much. Where a guy who may be an actual asshole, he's just confident.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
He's just confident. And
Mm-hmm.
then, within that, you know, um, being a woman and then also being a woman of color is two layers of a lot to break through, and honestly within that, and which I understand, sometimes women do carry a chip on their shoulder, but rightfully so. And when you feel like you got to overcompensate, when you have to be smarter than your counterparts to get the same opportunities, there's a lot of things women deal with to make less money, real talk. And then, if you're a person of color on top of that, the way you're looked at, beyond that. And then being put in this box, you get put in this like a no-win situation
Mm-hmm.
automatically, and you got to be so strong within yourself. So I just want to give a shout out to my mom and my sister, who are both super smart, super intelligent, and but didn't lose themselves. They still are super kind, sweet, loving, amazing individuals despite the crap I know that they've been through, being women, but also being black women.
Yeah.
That is no joke. And the only reason I'm kind of glad of being a minority is because certain things I have a passion about and understanding. Like, even though I'll never know what it's like to be a woman, but like the condescending behavior, like being treated as a second class citizen, all those things that women go through, I have a huge level of understanding and empathy for,
Mm-hmm.
to want to be on the side of empowering people, and certain things I wouldn't understand if I didn't sit in the skin that I have,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that. We
Mm-hmm.
free flow with that. We didn't mean to go off on this topic, but okay, let's keep going like real quick, and we don't have to go a long time on it.
Yeah.
But what it means to be a son or a daughter. Now, depending on like how you grew up, depending on your culture, can it's vastly different,
Mm-hmm.
right? In certain cultures, uh, the keep going to this, but like sometimes a brother and a sister within some cultures, like the brother can tell the sister what to do.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Most
saying?
cultures
Which
that
with
I've
even if
seen.
they're the
Yeah.
same age, which is
Yeah.
freaking crazy.
Yeah.
And the roles that you're supposed to play, what
Mm-hmm.
perfection looks like. There's so many, a lot of times, you be honest, think about the roles that you play and if there's limitations in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the joy of the loving part, when I think about like brother, sister, daughter, husband, wife, um, I think about the love part. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's pure and good.
Yeah.
But within each one of these roles, there's usually limitations that go along with it. So just the being aware of it, like go through each role that you play
Mm-hmm.
and see if there's limitations within that role.
Yeah.
You know,
Like the one that comes up for me since the beginning of this was the role of being a student, a high achieving student, because I had placed my sense of worth for so much of my life, for basically all of my life until about a year ago, on how good I did in school. I
mm,
got straight A's, I think 1B all throughout my entire school, like history ever,
wow,
until college. And then was so stressed trying to get A's. It's like if I got a B or C, like I felt
less than.
so, yeah, less than and whatever. And then I realized that that was a role that for some people, maybe that does serve them to a certain degree. If what you feel passionate about requires school and good grades and you enjoy that and you like the push or whatever, I decided for me that was something that was put on me that I didn't intentionally choose.
Mm,
And I know my worth is not based on that. And
mm,
I was getting way more stressed for no reason.
mm,
All these negative things were happening. And so I let go of that role. Now I'm
mm,
still in school, I'm still technically a student,
mm,
but that's not how I identify myself. I'm someone
mm,
who learns and I attend university or whatever, but, you know, I'm not like this high achieving student. And that doesn't make me any less, any more at all. And it's made my life so much better. Goes back to our last episode, you know, addition by subtraction. I let go of that identity, that role that I played. And all of these roles, the only thing that makes them negative is any type of pressure you put on yourself that feels unnatural for you. You know, anything that's putting extra resistance on you that you feel you'd be happier doing something different.
What you said within that is, anyway, what really came through for me is that no role should determine your self-worth. Like your self-worth should not be determined by any role. Being a mother, daughter, you can make decisions, you can enjoy it, you can have a sense of pride for the way you navigate that. If it makes you feel good in your spirit, that's wonderful, that's healthy. But any way that if you don't fit into a certain box that you may feel less than because this is what you're supposed to do. No, you get to redefine that for yourself. And it's so powerful to really take a hard look at each one of these roles, like all of them, and break them down, because certain roles tend to bring a higher self-esteem. Some roles by default, may bring a lower self-esteem.
Yeah, and it depends on who you are, what your life is, what your path is, and the things that were maybe your choice versus not your choice, and unconscious kind of stuff that was placed on you in society and stuff. So it's really interesting to evaluate, though.
Most of these things, just like our thoughts, we inherited.
Yeah.
Most of the roles and things we just inherited by default of our ancestors, of the culture that we live in, the country that we live in. And so it's real important to be able to actually be your authentic self, is to go back and look at everyone and just decide what's true for you. Go back to zero. Go back to nothing. No roles, no gender, just a being. And then within that, then be a man or woman. And
what does that look like for you?
Exactly.
Like, who are you? You may fit in these categories to the outside world, but be you, whoever you are on the deep inside, which is, hard to figure out sometimes. But when you start just going within more and asking these hard questions, being real with yourself, and really just taking time to think about things like this. So important.
Well, one suggestion is, no matter what, be love. Bring love to each designation. First, bring love to yourself and what that means to be a son or a daughter. Bring love to yourself and determine what that means to be a husband or a wife. Bring love to yourself and decide what that means to be a boss or an employee or an employer. Bring love to yourself and determine what that means in your culture, because each one of these things have beauty and they should be celebrated. But just think how much more you enjoy them if you can get rid of the things and parts that don't serve you within each of those roles.
Exactly. And like, I've realized from questioning like almost everything in my life in the past couple years, most things that we think are true, they're really choices, if you actually ask yourself. And so the boxes that you put on yourself, none of that is true. It's literally an illusion that we've all, like, in society maybe agreed upon. So we can still experience the truth that other people believe is there, and they may place their beliefs on us, and we'll feel that energy, but none of it objectively is like truth. Everything is relative, everything is perspective. So take a look at who you really are, and even if you match none of the boxes that are in that role that you're in, that's okay. You can still be a part of that or call yourself whatever, and It's yeah,
Yeah.
it can get deep.
Yes, yeah. That's so wonderful. The power of choice. There is no have tos. And also the freedom that comes when you get to redefine everything.
It's kind of fun too. It's like,
Redefine.
how do I want to live my life? Like you can literally like have the blueprint to your life basically and like plan it out. It's really fun.
let's set a pact. I feel like we're wrapping up. Let's set a pact with our people out there. Let's all set a pact. Whoever's seeing this, I'm gonna set a pact with Cass right now for myself that I'm gonna revisit any role. Go back to the beginning, and let's all set a pact to redefine all our seeming roles. And let's circle back and let us know what you find. And I'm excited to hear the freedom that comes from that and what you decided in redefining yourself and being true to yourself. That's so dope. I can't wait to hear that.
Because I've never actually done that. Like I've thought about roles that I've played and stuff, but not just that topic in and of itself deeply,
Yes.
and really gone through it. So
I'm
excited to do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo!
We love you. As always, Mike and Cass vibing out.
Yes.
Soon to be wilding out in about 10 minutes.
Yes, it's amazing. And go check the links below for all our other social media if you want to get in contact with us. Anything at all, check that out. We love you. We're here for you.
Yes.
And come back every Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes.
And we'll be here.
We're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. Peace.